Welcome back, my Algebra 1 students. We are going to do lesson 58, and we're going to talk about percent word problems. So in the book, it gives us a strategy that it says is absolutely vital to doing these word problems. And it says that we have to draw a diagram. On the other hand, I don't think the diagram is necessary, or at least it's not necessary for me. But I'm going to show you the diagram anyway. So in this first word problem, it tells us that Kathy, John, and Susie have only 20 chickens left. They have 20 chickens left. All right. But they began with 80 chickens. So they began with 80 chickens. What percent of the original flock remains? So what percent is 20, or actually it says what percent remains. Ooh, my handwriting is terrible. What percent remains? Or you could say, what percent is 20 of 80? Let me write that a little bit better. What percent of 80 is 20? I just flip-flopped it. That's a little bit easier to understand. What percent of 80 is 20? That's what we're really asking. So the book says you really have to draw a diagram, and the diagram is, here's your 80, and here is 20, and here's 60. What's the percent? Right? What percent? This is what it says you have to do in order to do this problem. If you don't have to do it, listen, I think it's a silly step because we've done these before. We know how to do what this says. And basically we're saying what percent of 80 is 20. We know that of is multiplication. We know that is equal, right? So we know we can say 80 times some number is equal 20. I mean, that's our problem right there. So we divide both sides by 80. Right? X is 1/4. And if we want to get the decimal, we just get on the calculator. And we say 1 divided by 4. And that equals 0.25. And we know that we can work this, a decimal to a fraction to a percent, right? The decimal 0.25 equals 25 out of 100, which equals 25%. We know that, so we can do the math without having to have the diagram and still get the same answer, right? So this was 58.1. This was our illustration for 58.1. Listen, I'm not going to knock it too much. Some people just can't wrap their head around it. It's complicated. Math is hard. If you need the diagram, draw the diagram. If that helps you see it, draw the diagram. But if you don't need it, I am not going to make you do it. Okay? It is entirely dependent upon what you need as a student in order to master this skill. And you may find that at first you need to draw the diagram, and then after a while you can drop it. Then that's fine too. Do what you need to do in order to have consistent results, or consistent answers and correct answers. That's what I want for you. So Use the diagram if you want. Let's move on. 58.2. All right, in this problem, we are told that Mimi and Jim have 75 hummingbirds. I'm going to try to write that where you can read that because that is a long word. And my pen is jumping around weird. Okay, not too bad. They want to give Hal, I don't know why they want to give Hal, they want to give away 20%. All right, so they want to give to somebody else 20%. Let me write that better. Want to give 20%. How many hummingbirds do they give Hal? So basically our question is, what is 20% of 75? That's our question. Okay? So we know what is our x, is our equal. 20%, we know we can take that 20%, turn it into 20 over 100, which turns into 0.20, right? And we know we can drop the 0, it's not necessary. So we're going to do 0.2 times 75 because we know that of means multiplication. So all we have to do is bring out our trusty little calculator and say, okay, what is 0.2 times 75? 15. So x is 15. 20% of 75 is 15. If you can formulate the right question, then you can take the parts and turn it into the right problem. And you don't need the diagram if you can do this well. All right. Okay. Now the diagram, if you're interested, for this was 75, and it was of 75. We had another little circle over here. It said, what number is 20%? And then what number is 80%? All right, which if you look at it, we said what number, which was x, is 20% of 75. Isn't that what we just did? This diagram is just being able to write this sentence. And then this sentence tells you how to write the formula. So if you need that diagram to help you see the sentence, go for it. 58.3. All right, Bo and Christy hide 600 raisins. I do not know why on God's green earth they would hide 600 raisins. That makes absolutely no sense. However, math class is the one place where people do stupid stuff with fruit and nobody cares. So let's continue. This is 60% more than they hid last month. So apparently hiding raisins is a habit for Bo and Christy. I don't know why. Maybe this is, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they're feeding the ants. We'll just go with that. Or the birds. Maybe they're feeding the birds. So anyway, this is more. This is more. So if 600 raisins is 60% more than last month, right? I don't know why I was going to draw a question mark. That's a statement. How many did they hide last month? How many raisins did they hide last month? All right, so first, let's think about it. 60% more implies that they had 100% of something last month. So last month was 100%, right? So this month they have 60% more. So we're adding 60%. That's more. So they have 160%. All right, 600 raisins is 160%. So if 600 equals 160%, we know we can take that 160 and turn it into a fraction like this. And then we can put this over x because we don't know what this was. But we can solve it like this through cross multiplication because we know we can do that. So let us find out. X times 160 is 160x. And then this is going to be 600 with 2 more zeros. Now we can divide both sides by 160. This cancels. If we divide this by 160, then how much they did last month is going to be dun, 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 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Divided by 160 is 375. So they did 375 raisins. They hid 375 raisins last month. And they hid 600 raisins this month. Now, if you want to check your work and make sure that you're doing this right, what you can do is you can take this 160% and you can turn it into a decimal, which we know would be 1.6, right? Okay. And you could say 1.6 times 375, and that should equal 600. So let's see if we can do that. Okay. 375 times 1.6, 600. So that is the way we did that previous problem, and it worked. So if you can get back to that number by multiplying your percent decimal times your total here, then, and it checks out, you know you did it right. Okay? All right, that is all that I have for lesson 58. I will see you guys in lesson 59. Have a great day.